How's it going, guys? So we're here to check out what's new in this week's update, and it's being called the Air Power Update. Took me a second there, and that's because we've got our first proper air vehicle. I mean, there's the hot air balloon, but you can't really, well, I guess you can steer it. Let's just say our first motor-driven air vehicle, and we've got a lot of cool power stuff. So, in my inventory here, you'll see that there's an RF transmitter and a pager. Now, this RF transmitter can be set by holding the right click, and you can set it between 1 and 9,999. You know, we're just being funny here with that. When I click it, it sets off all that stuff over there. If I let go, it stops. You'll also notice the buzzer's going off. Now the buzzer actually also has a silent mode where it actually vibrates instead of beeps, so that's pretty cool. So you can actually go ahead and also set the frequency right there on this guy. Now you can also, there's a non-portable version of this transmitter, which when we step in front of this laser pointer gets set off. So you can have it if someone goes into your base, the whole alarms go off completely. You've got the blue flashing light, the red light, and it's this guy right here. So you just set the frequency, same thing, and then you just basically stick it between the power source and the trigger, which, you know, the trigger is this over here. And boom, there you go. So you'll notice a couple of new components. We've got the red siren light, the blue flashing light. We've got this guy down here, which is the alarm speaker. I'm not sure if the art is final on that one. We'll have to see. You've got the RF, and we've got the RF transmitter, and then we've got the RF receiver, which receives from this guy here. And then we've also got the person sensor, and we've got the, what is this, the R and switch. So the RAND switch, you can think of it, yeah, random. This one either lets power through or doesn't. It rolls a dice 50-50 each time, so you can kind of use it to set up like games of chance kind of thing, which is cool. And basically the way this sensor here works is right now I have it set to exclude non-building authorized people or exclude building authorized. So we're going to say, you know, don't count people who are building authorized, and you'll see we can walk in front of it, nothing happens, right? If we say include building authorized, whoops, you'll see it went up to 4 now. So you can effectively use it to count if people are outside with a counter, or you can just simply have it set to when someone authorized walks in front of it, it turns lights on inside the base. It has about a 10-meter radius and is just pretty cool. It's definitely a really awesome thing. Now, one thing, you keep seeing all these people in these electrical videos showing off the generator, but we don't actually have a working generator in game. Well, don't be too sad, because there's actually artwork coming out for it, which you can see here. Tom has started work on a basic generator, so this thing might replace the look of this and be an item in game pretty soon. So that's actually a cool little quip-it right there. So let's go ahead and take an in-depth look at some of these new items. So we're going to go ahead and grab about one of each. So we've got the audio alarm, like I said, the flashing light, the RN switch. We've got the siren light, the HBHF sensor or person sensor, the pager, the broadcaster, the receiver. And those should be all of our new items, I think. Yes? Okay, so some of the prices, some people might be like, what? So, oh, there we go, and triggered that one off. We'll come over here for a second. And let's go ahead and drop everything in. So, you got 20 on this guy. 20 on the lights. The sensor is going to run you 75 with workbench 2. Pager, workbench 2 but 20, workbench 2 and 20, workbench 2 and 20, workbench 2 and 20, and workbench 1 and 20. So there you go. You got your kind of like what the workbench requirements are for them there. So let's go ahead and take a look to craft them. We've got RF, we've got 5 high qual and a tech trash for the transmitter. For the broadcaster, it is the same, 10 high qual but 1 tech trash. For the pager, tech trash and 25 metal frags. For the receiver, we've got 8 high qual and 1 tech trash. For the sensor, we've got 15 high qual and a tech trash. For the lights, we've got 5 high qual and 5 high qual. I'm big surprise right there. They're about the same. And I believe this guy is going to be 1 gear and 5 high qual. So that should pretty much, I think, did we just cover everything? I think we did. So yeah, that covers the costs and so forth of all the new electrical components and kind of the basics of how they work, which is pretty cool. Now, we did, in the item shop for sale, get a couple of cool little Chinese New Year stuff. We've got these lanterns right here, which cost you 25 cloth to make. They do run off of low grade, so you're going to have to toss them in there to get them going. Then we've got this door knocker, which works on any single door. People are like, oh no, they work on double doors. They do not, okay? We cannot, not letting us place it. But it'll work on any normal single door, and when you knock, it gives a particle effect and a deep donk, donk, donk. It sounds the same on all doors, though. I know some people ask that, so I'll be sure to cover it right there. So one other thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually make it dark for a second. Check out the new lights. So that strobe has a pretty decent strobe there at night. And then a couple people wanted to see how these look at night. So they give a bit of a nice little orangey yellow glow. So there you have it on those. Let's go ahead and swap back up to some bright daytime. Talk about a few of the other things. So we do finally have the new hemp model that was shown off a while ago. And it looks really great. It's definitely a improvement. And we also have new palm trees. These are only 2 of the types, but they all pretty much look the same. But we've got some twisty and bendy ones. They're taller. There are still small ones, of course, but they all have this nice, proper palm tree look to them. And one of the important things were, they actually said that these were some of the last speed tree items. So that's actually a performance thing, too. They've now gotten rid of the last kind of like old, kind of laggy, not really laggy, but, you know, laggier kind of stuff that's going to be sitting around. And so that brings me up to, there have been some significant performance increases for this actual update and wipe, which is actually something that is incredibly important. So there's something called the iterative entity networking. And this, they were saying, well, Andre says, was causing some of the biggest problems for frame rate drops. And it's basically, I guess, how the game followed how things are being created and destroyed as you're moving around the world. They've optimized this, it works more intelligently, and you should see quite a frame rate improvement when loading things in from now on. Another big thing, which has been a huge issue for Rust, that they've made a great improvement to supposedly here. I haven't had a chance to test it out yet because, well, the update's not live on servers, and I didn't exactly have 30 people to throw together in a gunfight. But that lag in a gunfight, it's so horrible. You're trying to do in the middle of something, you lag, and, you know, you should have had the shot, but because of better internet connection or something else, or just Rust, right? Well, custom garbage collection has been a big culprit of causing these problems, and it also affects RAM quite a bit. So basically, they've now prioritized it through the new update in Unity to do it at times that are less, you know, intense situations, so like a gunfight and so forth. So it's supposed to prioritize itself in an intelligent way, and hopefully this should give quite a bit of a performance boost to gunfights, similar things like that. As I said, they did update to the new Unity, so they are working on that. They are still implementing things, but this will definitely give them a lot of stuff to work with performance, and has helped them already with a lot of the performance, particularly with physics and so forth. So they said it's actually a much more stable build, they feel, for Unity. So that's definitely a cool thing. Another thing, there's been some, I guess, lag with respawning. That has been addressed as well. And also, there's new improvements going with the water, and it's not only just going to be overall look to water, it's also the rendering and performance of them and simplifying it, but at the same time just making it look so much better. It will definitely, you know, make waves, etc. You can see there's a little video playing here. Alright, so in addition to that, there's a few other fixes. Full screen exclusive mode has been added. If you do not like it or if it's causing you some kind of problems, you can always go back by changing the launch parameters in Steam for Rust with window-mode space borderless. Just adding that into your launch parameters. If you don't know how to do that, you might want to look up a little tutorial on how to do launch parameters for games in Steam. There's also a Linux and Mac update. These builds have been over 8 months in a really bad state, as the team is saying, and they're now finally able to work on it now that this part of this new update to Unity supports it. So that's definitely a really cool thing right there. Let's go ahead and take a look. We got a couple extra screenshots for the oil rig monument. So why was this monument delayed? They've been working on it forever, blah, 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 right? Well, it's going to be an event as well. So they said they could have just released another plain monument that you just go up to, you loot stuff off of it. Or they could release it in its full form, fleshed out with an event and something special to it. I'm glad they held off. We will see it next month unless something crazy weird happens. I'm excited for that. It's going to be really cool. There's 2 different versions of the oil rigs. There's a small one and a large one, so I'm definitely excited to see that. And on the topic of rad towns, they have now started work on a new monument that happens to be an excavator. So I don't know. I couldn't squeeze any more information out of them other than, hey, this sounds really cool. Can you send me some pictures? And unfortunately, not yet. But I'm guessing it might be usable like the quarries. That would be a really cool thing. We'll just have to see how it goes. I'm excited to see what the future of that is. But that pretty much covers kind of all the knicks, knacks, this and that. So we've got about 2 more things to cover. We're going to check out a couple of changes to some of the rad towns. And on the subject of the rad towns, the team is still working on the whole lighting update to them. That's still something we should see soon, and we'll also bring more performance hits there. But I think what everyone's waiting for is checking out this little guy right here. So how do you get it? Well, it spawns around certain monuments in low quantities, and you just gotta find it, just like the hot air balloon or boats. Back here is the fuel container. You can put a max of 500 fuel in there. It lasts you pretty well. I don't have exact numbers on that. I think people are going to have to run some testing of it in-game before they can kind of figure out how much the fuel is. Now, it's got a passenger and driver's seat. The passenger seat, you are fully articulate. You can move, you can do whatever. You can shoot a rocket launcher. You can shoot a gun, blah, blah, blah. But there's not really a whole lot of protection. To get in, of course, you press whatever your action button is. By default, that should be E, sorry. And to leave, you press space, just like all other vehicles. Do make sure when you're up in the air, you don't hit space because, well, you're going to fly out of it. And we don't have parachutes yet, so yeah, it might not be the best idea. But anyways, jump into the driver's seat. You'll notice that you are now locked to a front position of a view. You'll hit W to get it spinning. As you can see, it's got some new sound effects, which is pretty good. We've achieved liftoff. Now, you can actually drive this thing around, too. So if you hit crouch, you'll go on the ground, and you can now use the WSAD keys to actually drive this thing around. Whee! And park it. So this is something, it's going to be just like the boats and etc. It needs to be in a fully closed room to not decay. Otherwise, you are going to have to go out there and repair it. Of course, it repairs with high qual and wood and etc. just like any of the other devices would. So let's go ahead and take this thing for a flight now that you know how to park it. So once again, we're going to spin up with W. W is going to raise you in the air, so you can continue to hold the W button down to go up. S is going to lower you in the air. You usually get a bit of a backwards motion with it as well. Now keep in mind, if you hit something like a tree or so forth, you might have a pretty terrible accident. Once this thing starts to spin out of control, especially if it starts going backwards, it is very hard to get it going forward again, so it's going to take a little bit of skill to learn how to use this. That's my warning to you guys, as I don't have a whole lot of skill in flying this thing yet. So, anyways, as you can see, we're kind of going backwards. So to move forward, of course, is, you know, up and down on the mouse is going to be kind of your direction, and A and D are kind of your roll. So there we go. We can rotate here, rotate around. See, we're kind of moving there. If you look down, you'll start to kind of hover a little faster forward, and you can start getting some forward momentum. And there we go. Away we fly. I love the sound effects too. It's got some last minute update to sound effects. It sounds great. Now, a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, can't I just, you know, take this thing off? Whoa, see, well, we got backwards and we blew up. And there it goes. Whoops. That was fun. Sounds like an F1 grenade when it goes off. But anyways, oh, well, you know, this is going to make going to Dome and other things really easy. Well, yep, with Dome, pretty easy. And be like, you know, the thing's pretty fast. What about the SAM sites? Well, the SAM sites actually at the launch site, they've got a bit of an upgrade. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Alright guys, so we've got the SAM turrets up here, but they've got a new kick to them. They're not only stronger, but they are faster and they are better at locking on. So coming up here with the copter might not be exactly the funnest thing. Let's go ahead and actually just pop it in here. Minicopter. There it is. We're gonna hop into its seat and let's see. Oh, we need some fuel. Forgot about that. Ooh, and we're also flying. Fuel? That is cloth. Oh, and there we go. So, definitely can't survive quite as well as some people were testing on staging. It definitely gets a bit nuked right there. So, lastly, let's go check out the little changes to military tunnels. We'll be right back. Alright, so military tunnels only had one exit. It was very easy, well, unless you came back out the way you went in. But pretty much from the scientist area, the main exit came out here, and it was just really easy for someone to sit up on the hill and just destroy those people. And now there's a little bit of a fighting chance. It should now have these walls around it, so when you first poke your head up here, you're not going to get domed instantly, most likely, unless someone's standing right here. And then you've got all these walls around to kind of give it a protection. But, oh, yeah, there's the guns. Yeah, guys. Alright. Oh, actually, did we get the lighting update? Oh, guys, looks like we have a bit of a lighting update going on in here. Look at that. That's actually quite nice. So it looks like we have a bit. Can they stop shooting at me so loud? Oh, we're in water. Okay. Anyway, there's now an alternate way out. You can go up this ladder, which will take you through this mine shaft. Boom. And out here. Now, this used to be previously an entrance. It's now an exit, and it's definitely a cool little add-on. So guys, this is a tremendous update. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of good things to look forward to here in the future. Sound off down in the comment section below what you're most excited about, what you like the most, or what you may feel could have been done a little better. I don't know. Leave some feedback there for me, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one.